Okay.
All right, we are talking with Council Chair Tommy Waters. Um, Chairman, can you please tell me about your latest, I guess, actions regarding Clean Theater?
So the Queen Theater in Kamakee has been sitting vacant for decades. And it's a beautiful theater. It's iconic with that sign. And I just thought it'd be a great idea if we could remodel it and utilize the theater and bring it back to its glory days. Um, I thought it'd be great to have plays there. The ballet studio right down the street could do performances there. We got a ukulele um, school in the neighborhood, and they could do performances there, hula shows and whatnot. And, like I said, it's been sitting there vacant for decades, and we've been waiting so long. And one tool that government has is condemnation. If the owners aren't going to do anything with it, I thought the government could take it over and fix it up and let the community use it. So initially, I introduced this resolution starting the condemnation process, and I was contacted by the owner's daughter, and she asked me to hold off because she believed in what I believed in and the community wanted, which was to restore the theater. So that's been 3 long years that we've been waiting. And to the owner's credit, they did go in there with a large roll off and they cleaned out all the old stuff that was in there. And by the way, I actually got a tour of the theater before and after she cleaned it. Before it was clean, there was just junk everywhere. There's homeless people living there, and it was just a mess. And I was getting complaints from the community about um, what was going on there. Anyway, since then, they did clean it out and they took out everything, including all the old bleachers, um, which I was hoping we'd save some of it though. But anyway, they threw it all away. And I got to tour the theater again, and it looks great. The bones are still good. Um, but they haven't been able to lease it out for whatever reason. They haven't been able to lease it out. So again, I initially introduced this 3 years ago, and people were in support. So what I want to do is I'm thinking about reintroducing the resolution to condemn the theater if I can get the community to support it. Again, condemnation is a big deal where you're taking private property from someone. And, I don't do that lightly. But if the community supports me, I will absolutely reintroduce the resolution.
Did you have to change any of the wording or redraft it?
No, it's pretty much identical. I may add 1 or 2 paragraphs talking about how we've been waiting 3 years since the last resolution was introduced. Just to show people that we did give the owner a chance to rehabilitate the space. And, I did meet with the owner uh, about a month ago, and they said they're still working on it and looking for sources of funding. And that's fine because the whole condemnation process actually takes a while, but I just want to actually light a fire and to get them more motivated to actually um, fix up the space and open it up for the community.
Would you please explain what is involved? Like, what is the process like to condemn a property?
So it's actually a court proceeding. You actually have to initiate a lawsuit. There has to be a public purpose for that, right? You can't just take property willy-nilly. There has to be a public purpose. So what my resolution does, it establishes the public purpose, right? People can come in and testify and say, yeah, we want this done. It's again, establishes the public purpose. Then our lawyers at the city can initiate the lawsuit and tell the judge, hey, look, there is a public purpose. The city council passed a resolution saying there is a public purpose. It is a long, drawn out process. You may recall we had to go through this process when the owner of a piece of property in Portlock tried to close off beach access, and we were going through condemnation there. It it actually happened again in Waikiki, where an owner let this dilapidated piece of property go where they were selling drugs out of there, and it was really a mess on the LOI. We condemned property there. So it's sparingly used, but it's lengthy process, right? As I said, it has to go through court, but this is the start.
Okay, so what then would the trigger be for you to introduce this resolution? Because how do you determine what is enough community support?
Well, the neighborhood boards, for one thing, if they're in support, and I hope to get feedback from this interview once people see this story on TV, to contact my office and let me know how they feel.
Oh, go ahead and say your contact info then, since we are running it in its entirety on the web.
Oh, wonderful. You can email me at tommy.waters@honolulu.gov.
And do you have a phone number that you want to give out or no?
Email is best. You know, that I have it in writing that you folks are in support, and I would really appreciate that. I also want to make a plug for our website, honolulucitycouncil.org. honolulucitycouncil.org. We reworked the whole website to make it as user-friendly as possible. And you can testify at our hearings through our website. You can even, you know, use your phone to participate in government. So, you know, please log on and check us out.
Look at you lifting up your phone for pops. It's like you're familiar with this whole media process.
Well,
I'm Tommy
here's
Waters.
another
You
prop.
can
I
use this
have the
phone
reso
here.
right here.
What date would you like people to send it in by?
Oh, as soon as you can.
Okay.
We're doing community outreach, like I said, working with Kamaki Business Association, the neighborhood board, Envision Kamaki. Um, yeah,
So last, mhm.
sorry, there used to be association um called Save Queen Theater, I believe. I don't
Friends
think
of
they're
Queen
still in
Theater.
existence, but there used to be one.
Yeah, no, it's still around. Friends of Queen Theater. They actually have a survey out that will be launched on Monday, which would be January 22nd, if we're watching this in the hazy ether of the internet. And they want people to say what they want their vision to be. They're soliciting ideas. So yeah, Friends of Queen Theater. Okay. So last night at the Kaneki Neighborhood Board meeting, which would have been January 17th, 18th, owner Adore You told the board, like her latest update, right? So she said she was seeking historical preservation tax credit. She was still talking to more potential lessees, and she had some engineering assessment done, and the survey came back that the structure was surprisingly solid, despite the fact that people keep saying it's like dilapidated, things are falling apart. I talked to the neighborhood board member, Becky Gardner, and she was saying, well, that does sound pretty similar to things that Adori has been saying for the last 3 years. Could you react to that and how that affects your
Yeah,
desire to condemn?
you know, I do want to thank Adore You for taking this very seriously. Like I mentioned, they did go in there and cleaned it up. Um, but we have been waiting 3 years since I first introduced the resolution. And, you know, again, I'm hoping this lights a fire to actually get it done, because, you know, it's just sad to see the theater just sitting there over the years, falling apart and not being utilized. It's just really disappointing. So, um, again, I want to just acknowledge that they have tried, but it's probably going to take a long time to go through that process,
Yeah.
getting these
All right.
tax credits. And really, I'm not even sure that it's going to actually happen.
All right, Chair Waters, let's get you off to your next meeting on time. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Good to see you.
City,
Thank you.
Honolulu City Council Chair Tommy Waters. Aloha.
Okay, aloha.